Hello, I am Jarrett Loglia, and I'm going to be talking to you today about salary caps within professional sports in America. Now, as you know, there are salary caps in three of the four major sports, the four major sports being the NFL, football, the NBA, basketball, the MLB, baseball, and the NHL and hockey. All except for baseball have a salary cap that each team has to abide by. With that being said, the team owners and front office can distribute that salary cap however they feel necessary among the teams. It's not necessarily, oh, so you have $120 million to spread out across 52 players, spread it out evenly. No, realistically, they could give $115 million to one player, and the 51 other players have to split $5 million. So first I'm going to talk to you about the average salaries according to Forbes.com. So the average salary for an NFL player is $1.9 million. Also, the highest paid NFL player is in 2013 was Drew Brees, and he made $51 million. The league minimum for a player on the active roster of an NFL team is $405,000 a season. The average salary for an MLB player is $3.31 million. The highest paid player in Major League Baseball in 2013 was Alex Rodriguez, who made $29 million. That was on a season that was shortened due to him being suspected and then suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, as well as he was injured. So, realistically, he played less than half of the season and still got paid $29 million. The league minimum for a player on an active roster of a Major League Baseball team is $500,000. The average salary for an NBA player is $5.15 million. The highest paid player in the NBA is Kobe Bryant, who made $30.5 million in 2013. The league minimum for a player in the NBA is $473,500. The average salary for an NHL player is $2.4 million. The highest paid player is Shea Weber, who made $14 million in 2013. The minimum for a NHL player on an active roster is $525,000 per season. As you know, that is just the broad picture of the major sports in America. The average American, on the other hand, excluding athletes, makes $44,321 a year. So now, taking account also the fact that the minimum wage in states can sometimes differ from the minimum wage in the federal minimum wage, I will talk about how the average minimum wage in America is $7.50 an hour. So with that being said, a person working full-time, so 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, will make approximately $15,600 a year. So in that sense, the average minimum salary is approximately 30 times larger for a professional athlete in America than just the average person. And that's not taking into account that with today's economic problems, the average American making minimum wage does not work 40 hours a week and has to resort to getting multiple part-time jobs. Another problem is that these athletes are using endorsements. So, for example, LeBron James made $42 million in endorsements in 2013. So, from that being said, they're making much more money on top of what they're already making in salary. So there are some reasons why that the high amount of money exists in professional athletics. Professional athletes play their sports in many places across the country and sometimes in other countries, for example, in Canada. And due to that, they are technically working in that area. So the states and the other countries have the ability to tax the athletes on their salary because they worked in that area. This not only creates a headache for when they have to do their taxes, but in addition, it also makes them have to pay additional taxes due to the fact that they're having to file in so many states. In addition, due to the nature of sports, they have a high chance of getting highly debilitating injuries, back problems, joint problems, concussions, etc. There have been many instances where football players have had seizures and such 20, 30 years after the fact, and many of them are wheelchair bound by the time they're 50 or 60 years old. With that being said, it's similar to the military, so much so that the NFL and the armed forces have teamed together to help concussion victims both in sports and in the military. Many of these athletes have been grooming to become athletes since they were at a young age. I don't know how many carpenters, meteorologists, scientists have been trying to be in that field since they were 4 or 5 years old. However, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who agree, that many of them played sports from when they were at a very young age, and that's really all they know. Now, that's not necessarily our fault, but it still exists. So, in addition, there are so few athletes that they are the cream of the crop. For example, there are 32 professional football teams in America. Each one has 52 active players. That is a total of 1,664 professional football players in the United States. The 2012 census states that there are 313.9 million people in America. That means that 0.00005% of America is good enough to currently play football in the NFL. So they are truly the top, which means they should get paid more, even if there isn't a middle or lower as there is in most careers. Many of these problems exist because the players' associations and unions have the ability to negotiate with the owners to create this large salary cap that we currently have. In addition, the athletes also have the ability to just go on strike, as we've seen in all of the major sports where the seasons maybe didn't happen or happened late. In addition, the federal government also adds additional taxes to these players because of the amount of money they make. It's not so much that they tax them in the same way that they tax, for example, a CEO who makes millions of dollars. They tax them in a different way due to the fact that they also have supplementary incomes such as endorsements, sponsorships, etc. Bottom line is there needs to be a cap on the amount of money these athletes make. One of the main problems that exists is at the ownership level. These owners know that the amount of money that they give to an athlete dictates how much the chances are that they are going to join their team. And they know that the amount of sponsorships and endorsements that the team gets as a whole will increase if they win. So they're going to spend as much money as they possibly can to get the best players. If they put a cap on this, then they will no longer be able to view these players as an investment, and they'll have to come up with another way to attract these players rather than just a large amount of money. Another thing is that the athletes are doing too many endorsements. I remember a few years ago, the Manning brothers were doing commercials for Oreo cookies. Now, I don't think that Oreo cookies have anything to do with football. So I believe that we should leave endorsements, commercials, etc. to the actors and leave the athletes to play football, baseball, hockey, or basketball. Now, if they're doing a commercial for a new shoe that is supposed to let them run faster, jump higher, etc., fine, because that is in their field of expertise. Thank you.